By paying attention to emotional reactions, you can understand a person's priorities even without words. For example, someone may get nervous and make excuses because of a minor remark about punctuality. This is not just a reaction to the fact, but a reflection of the fact that punctuality and reliability are an important part of their identity. They want others to see them that way. Stoicism reminds us that by observing emotional reactions, you can not only better understand others, but also learn to build stronger relationships with them. If you know what causes strong emotions in a person, you can choose the appropriate way to communicate, be more attentive to sensitive topics, or build trust by emphasizing what is important to your interlocutor. Stoicism emphasizes that emotions are not only a tool for understanding others, but also a way to look inside yourself. When you yourself experience an acute reaction, anger, resentment, fear, take a break. Think about why it caused such a strong emotion. Is this really important? Or is it possible that ego and feelings of vulnerability are behind it? For example, you get annoyed when someone questions your honesty. Is this because the truth is really important to you, or because you just don't like having your credibility questioned? Stoicism teaches us that by understanding our own emotional reactions, we can better control them. Understanding what is behind your feelings allows you to live consciously and increases your ability to cope with external stimuli. Our emotions may be deeply connected to the values that are truly important to us, or they may simply be a reflection of our pride and insecurity. The ability to read people is not magic, but a skill based on careful perception of the subtle signals they give. Their emotions, body language, and reactions can reveal a lot of information about their true intentions, values, and priorities. Stoicism provides you with the opportunity to improve this skill by teaching you to observe without judgment. When you learn to see behind external behavior and capture and spoken true feelings, you gain clarity in every social interaction. This skill not only allows you to gain an advantage, but also deepens your understanding of others. The more you observe others, the more information you get about yourself, about what triggers your emotions, what you value, and how you can live up to your principles. By reading people honestly and wisely, you not only get a better sense of direction in life, but also develop depth of thought and self-awareness. True power lies in using this understanding not for manipulation, but for wisdom and personal growth. Did you like the video? Please kindly like and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out on the new wisdom. Express your thoughts in the comments. They are important for our common path to the truth. Thank you for your attention. By understanding these signals, you will not only be able to better understand the people around you, but also learn more about yourself. After all, we do it too. By noticing how your own voice changes in moments of doubt or anxiety, you will be able to see your internal conflicts and work on them. Our voice will always tell you more than our words, so listen to it carefully. This path to self-knowledge and the ability to read others requires attention and stoic calmness, but only a conscious look at ourselves and others gives us the strength to grow, understand, and build harmonious relationships. True wisdom begins from the moment when you learn to listen not only to words, but also to the whisper of intonations, to see not just actions, but also their hidden motives. A person's past is not just a stage left behind. It stays with us, influencing who we become. Our personal history is the foundation of everything. Our thoughts, behavior, and even attitudes toward people here and now. Whether we like it or not, our life experiences, victories, disappointments, and relationships shape our character today. Although many say that the past should be left behind, the truth is that we carry it with us, and it often becomes the blueprint for our actions. For example, I had a friend. At first glance, he always looked tense, too cautious in relationships, quickly irritated and constantly on guard. At first, I thought it was part of his character, but as I got to know him better, I realized the reason. His past was marked by betrayal from loved ones, financial difficulties, and the need to constantly prove himself. His isolation and tension were the result of a desire to protect himself from new insults. Our traumas, whether emotional or social, leave an irreversible imprint. In fact, people S behavior is an echo of their past. A person who grew up in an atmosphere of insufficient attention may seek constant approval in adulthood. Someone who has once faced betrayal may avoid cooperation, having difficulty trusting everything and everyone. The point is not to justify the actions of such people, but to understand that their behavior is often dictated not by the events of the present, but by memories of the past. Stoicism suggests that we learn to see people objectively, accepting them for who they are, without judgment. I've seen this happen even in romantic relationships. Have you ever met someone who seemed completely ordinary at first, but then began to show seemingly inexplicable traits, jealousy, or difficulties with commitment? 9 times out of 10, the reason is hidden in their past relationships, which left unhealed wounds in their soul. Their behavior today is dictated by the fear of possible pain in the future. Understanding this allows you to see the reason for their actions. But, of course, this does not mean that you need to calmly tolerate toxic manifestations. Many people become trapped in a vicious circle of repetitive behaviors. They relive their old traumas over and over again, often without even realizing it. The colleague who constantly seeks approval is most likely repeating the feeling of inadequacy from childhood. A friend who ruins his every relationship is probably afraid of being rejected, a fear inherited from previous disappointments. Their principles, attitudes, and reactions to the world around them are a mirror of their past experiences. But here's an interesting complication. By understanding a person's past, you can not only improve your relationship with them, but also help them break this vicious circle on their own. By pointing out recurring patterns and gently discussing them, you can give him the opportunity to become more aware, to come face to face with what he has been hiding from for years. The principles of Stoicism emphasize the importance of introspection and self-improvement, and awareness of one's history is the first step towards this. It's easy to judge a person based only on their behavior here and now, but it's much more powerful to understand the past behind this behavior. After all, it is there, in the past, that lies the key to unraveling the whole present. Sometimes, in order to better understand a person, it is important not to look at them superficially, but to see them as a whole, both who they are now and their past. The past always remains a part of us and is reflected in our behavior, our tone and words. If you want to really understand someone, you need to pay attention not only to what they say, but also to how they say it. For example, an unexpected change in the tone of voice may be a sign that a person is hiding or doubting something. Our voice is a mirror of our inner state. When we are confident, our speech sounds smooth. The words flow out naturally, without breaking. But if there is conflict, uncertainty, or a lie in your thoughts, your voice gives it away. Even if a person wants to hide something, his body and brain begin to react to stress, and it is the voice that is the first thing that betrays us. I remember the case of a colleague who was always eloquent, his speech was confident, and his tone was cheerful. But one day, while discussing the timing of the project, he suddenly slowed down his speech. His voice became lower and less confident. It was very noticeable, even if he didn't realize it himself. Later it turned out that he had not completed a significant amount of work and was trying to hide it. His voice clearly hinted at inner discomfort even before the truth was revealed. When a person lies, doubts, or feels uncomfortable, his voice may rise slightly, become cracked or quieter, and his speech may be accompanied by pauses. This is not always done consciously. The voice, as an unconscious instrument, reflects the struggle of mind and body. We've all noticed these signs in one way or another. Have you ever caught someone in a lie? You probably noticed how their tone changed. Their voice became unusually joyful, too fast, or vice versa, slow and quiet. These are subtle clues that signal internal tension. I had a friend who always enthusiastically discussed our joint plans, but if I suggested something that she didn't like at all, her tone would instantly change from lively to neutral, almost emotionless. Although her words sounded approving, the change in intonation revealed her true feelings. It was these changes that helped me realize that she didn't fully agree with my suggestions. Most likely, each of us has noticed similar manifestations in everyday conversations, in relationships or at work. One moment, a person can be positive and open, and the next, they suddenly become defensive, evasive, or even wary. At such moments, it is important to listen not only to the words, but to the way they are pronounced. Changes in the energy of the voice, unexpected pauses, or a change in tone can reveal more than the text of the conversation itself. Stoicism teaches us to observe people objectively, without judgment. After all, when a person's voice changes, it doesn't always happen for the sake of deceiving others. Most often, the cause is an internal struggle, insecurity, or even a lie directed at oneself. It may sound paradoxical, but people sometimes lie to themselves in order to cope with certain feelings, and this inner tension seeps into their voice. By understanding these signals, you will not only be able to better understand the people around you, but also learn more about yourself. After all, we do it too. By noticing how your own voice changes in moments of doubt or anxiety, you will be able to see your internal conflicts and work on them. Our voice will always tell you more than our words, so listen to it carefully. Have you ever felt like you were saying words you didn't fully believe in and noticed how your voice betrayed your doubt? The tone becomes a reflection of your true inner state. Stoics emphasize the importance of agreement between thoughts, words, and actions. When this agreement is not there, it becomes obvious. The voice or intonation may give it away earlier than the words. The next time you participate in a conversation, if you notice that someone's voice is changing, whether it has a decrease in energy, an awkward pause, or an abrupt change in timbre, pay attention. Ask yourself, what is bothering them? What are they hiding? It may not be a lie, but rather a sign of insecurity or hidden discomfort. Their voice becomes a signal that reveals more than they are willing to say. You just need to listen carefully to capture these moments. If you really want to find out what kind of person is deep down, pay attention to their behavior when they don't think they're being watched. It is at such moments that people take off the masks they put on in society to meet expectations or make a good impression. They reveal their true selves. Although we want to believe that we are the same both in private and in public, reality often proves the opposite. People often behave completely differently when they are sure that no one is watching them. I once worked with a manager who was a model of professionalism while the bosses were in the office. She spoke politely and kept her composure, but as soon as the leaders left, she changed. She snapped at employees, made arrogant comments, and treated her colleagues with no respect. This became an important lesson for me. Who a person is when he believes that no one sees him as his real self. When people are in the spotlight, they are careful to appear the way they want to be perceived. But as soon as they are out of sight, all the filters are removed, and then their true nature is revealed. Pay attention to the small points. Look at how a person treats those who can help him. How does he react in stressful situations or when he thinks that no one will notice his actions? These seemingly insignificant details conceal a real attitude and character. This is also noticeable in romantic relationships. At the beginning of a relationship, both sides strive to look as good as possible in front of each other. But to understand who a person really is, watch them in quiet moments when they are not trying to make an impression. Does he show kindness, tolerance, and respect when he is in a difficult situation, or is he sure that he is not being watched? The same applies to social interactions. For example, you may have a friend who in public seems to be the soul of the company, having fun, joking, and pleasing others. But when he is left without an audience, his behavior can change dramatically. He becomes selfish, or withdrawn. It is in such quiet moments that you can see his true character. Stoic wisdom teaches us to observe others without judgment, in order to see not what they seem like, but who they really are. People often reveal their identity when they think that no one is watching them, and it is in these moments that you can understand who is in front of you. Watch the little things and subtleties. After all, they tell much more than big words or spectacular actions. Stoicism reminds us that true virtue lies not in how we behave in front of others, but in our behavior when no one is watching. A person who remains kind, patient, and respectful, even when there are no onlookers, really follows Stoic principles. However, reality shows that many people separate their public and private lives, trying to maintain a beautiful image in public, while less attractive features appear behind closed doors. I had a colleague who seemed like a wonderful person at group meetings, always warm, supportive, and positive. But as soon as we were alone, his behavior changed. He turned out to be harsh, dismissive, and unwilling to help if it didn't benefit him. I realized that his public self is just a facade. The most explicit moments occur when a person does not feel that someone is watching him. It is at such moments that kindness or cruelty is shown, and we can see who he really is. If a person is able to be kind only in the presence of others, this is not real kindness. It is just a performance. Stoicism teaches that true character is shown in shadows, not in bright light. We must strive to live in harmony with our values at all times, no matter who is around. Actions based on inner conviction do not depend on external approval. When we observe others in their vulnerable moments, we not only see their true nature, but also remind ourselves of the importance of living sincerely, even when no one is watching. If you want to understand what is really important to a person, pay attention to their emotional reactions in different situations. These reactions serve as a window into his soul, revealing priorities, values, and what is dear to him. This idea may seem controversial, since many of us believe that we control our emotions, but in fact, strong emotional reactions are indicative signals. Let me share a personal example. I had a colleague who always looked calm. However, one day at a meeting, someone suggested a small change to his project, and it suddenly exploded. His reaction was not caused by the change, but by the fact that this project was a personal matter for him. Many hours of work were invested in it. This outburst revealed how important it was to him, even though he never talked about it. People don't always openly talk about what is important to them, but their emotions are something that can be hidden. For example, a boss who reacts angrily when you question his decisions shows that this is really important to him. Turn to emotions, and they will tell you much more than words. The emotions we experience, especially strong ones, are often a reflection of our inner values and priorities. They can tell you what is behind a person's behavior. For example, when someone reacts particularly painfully to a harmless remark about their mistake, the reason is usually deeper. It affects a part of their self-esteem or an important value for them. For example, the desire to always be right. A friend who is very happy to be praised for his work is likely to attach great importance to recognition, even if he does not admit it directly. Stoicism teaches you to pay attention to such emotional manifestations, because they, in most cases, reveal what is truly important to a person. Although people may seem restrained and calm in most situations, their true values become apparent in moments of emotional outburst, be it joy or anger. Emotions reveal important things not only when it comes to anger or irritation, but also when a person is glowing with happiness. For example, if someone perks up talking about their hobby or side project, it is a sign that it is really important to them, even if they don't talk about it directly. This principle is especially evident in relationships. If a person gets upset when your plans change, it is possible that for them, time together is not just a meeting, but a key value. If he enthusiastically discusses future trips or events, he probably sincerely appreciates creating shared memories.